Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica, and in today's video I'm doing my October wrap up, and this is her. That's my Lulabells. So Lulu decided she had to join me while I do my wrap up, and she's a mouth breather, but I love her very much. Anyway, let's just get into the books, and she's going to be staying with me. She did not want to leave the room when I was trying to get all the animals out so I could film this, and she was not having it. So we're just going to have her here with me. And my fan is running because it is 80 degrees in November, and that is not okay. So listen, so we're going to have some background noise, and I do apologize for it, but let's get into the books because that's what we're all here for. So in October, I read 32 books, and I had 4 5 stars, 7 4.5 stars, 7 4 stars, 3 3.5 stars, and 2 DNFs and 9 rereads. So basically, I started rereading. Like I reread the whole Stay a Spell series and stuff, but it was good. But my breakdown for the format that I read these books on was I had 30 audiobooks, 1 physical book, which is shocking, and 1 ebook, which is not wholly shocking. But then for genre breakdown, I had 2 historical romances, 11 paranormal romances, 16 contemporary, 2 romantic suspense, 1 cozy mystery, and 1 nonfiction. So one of my nonfiction was Night by Elie Wiesel, I think that's how you say his name. I read it with my class. I love that book. It's a good book, and that was my nonfiction physical book that I read. So there was that. And if you hear that, she's scratching herself. Okay. All right, Lulu. Shh. Come on, baby girl. Come on. Right back down. Lay down. Okay, you lay down. Come here, baby. Come on, Bells. Come on. Come on. Okay. So, so I did finish my okay, so I was talking about Lulu is so distracting. You're such a distracting little baby girl, aren't you? You're such a distracting little baby girl. Okay, she's also very loving. Okay, so culmination of everything, I decided I'm going to let you out because I can't do this with you because you're too cute and I need to get this done. So I'm gonna let you out because I need to get this done. Thank you. Okay, she's out. She's big and she's beautiful, and I love that dog to death, and she's slobbery because I'm all slobbery now. Thank you, Lulu. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, the backlist. So I finished my TBR for the backlist that I wanted to read. One of it was Christina C. Jones's The Culmination of Everything. I had no idea what this book was about, and I'm going to be looking at my notes because I read this earlier in the month of October. So I had no idea what this book was about. The synopsis is very, very vague. I think she did that on purpose. We meet the characters fairly well off. The heroine makes some very questionable decisions, like she's trying to get a cell phone, and I don't understand why she's trying to get the cell phone. And the hero is a massive dick, okay? I understood why he was angry with her because she was putting himself in danger and she putting herself in danger. Now, I don't know why, because I actually never got there. Because they spend the night, and when they spend the night, they have hate sex, right? And I was like, okay, I can, sure, right? It was when he was the next day, and it was after this big storm because he had to give her shelter. He's a park ranger, and again, I don't really know anything about these characters at this point, right? And honestly, I still don't. But he was having a conversation with his guy friends, and who was lusting after our heroine, whose name's Kyle. Well, he said that he had her in a frat boy sort of a way, and then he also said he didn't object for his friends to go for it. And I was like, absolutely not. I don't like frat boys, and I don't like that type of hero. I don't. And I messaged Zay from Witty Reads. She did not message me back. So I messaged Tiff from Tiff Talks page. She's like, I haven't read it, so I don't know. because I asked him, I was like, is it worth getting over this? Because I was just like, I do not like that language for the hero. That was a big absolute no for me. And Tiff, listen, I am okay with poly and white shoes and all that stuff. Like, I'm okay with that stuff, right? But when it's supposed to be just a single couple, he should not want her to be with other people. She should not want him to be with other people. And that's where I had my big problem with this, okay? I was like, absolutely not. And Tiff's like, if you are having those feelings, if they're legitimate, you should stop reading this book. So I ended up DNFing this book at 30%. And even now, I still don't know what this book is about. I just could not get past the way he talked about the heroine, or that he told his buddies to go for it. That was just an absolute no for me. Now, if you've read a culmination of everything, let me know if I should go back. And because I'm willing to give it a second chance if the story is that good, if the romance is that good. I would like to know, because if that's the case, then I'm willing to get over that if I need to, just to be able to have it, because the writing was impeccable. Christina C. Jones can write. She's fantastic. She's a fantastic writer. I was interested in the characters up until that point when he said what he said. So that is why I DNF'd that book. And it's not because I didn't care about, I just don't like it when heroes say stuff like that. So I am off my soapbox. But before I read that, I had a couple of 5 stars. Arc, not the ALC, of Finding Hayes by Laura Pavlov. This is book 5 in the Magnolia Full series. This is the last book. I gave it 5 stars. I really, really liked it. It was second chance, marriage of convenience. He was a protective hero, small town, grumpy sunshine. He was a firefighter hero. You have that small town feel. And it's always been you vibes. Like, it's always been Hayes for Savannah and Savannah for Hayes. They were best friends. They called themselves Peas and Carrots. They had a tattoo where it was a pea and a carrot. It was really, really cute. But then some shenanigans happened and Savannah moved away. There's some miscommunication within those. And it was stuff that was really, honestly, because they were teenagers, it was kind of out of their control. But 10 years go by and she moves back into town and she needs a husband. When he had that my wife's reaction to Savannah when they were when they started to have this marriage of convenience, I loved it. I love the my wife reaction. Like I said, if it's male or FF or MF or whatever, and it's just 2, I want that devotion. And that is why I loved it. He was so devoted to her. She was devoted to him. Once they started communicating with each other, it was fantastic. I loved it. Beefcake was perfect as ever. Like, Beefcake is the star of this series. That's just it. Beefcake is the star. And Savannah is a very strong heroine. Love her. Loved Hayes. He was a very, very interesting and very protective hero. He was grumpy, but he wasn't really grumpy around her. But I just loved it. This was a great ending to a phenomenal series. I loved this book so much. Then I got the ALC for Forever and Always PR by, that's Jess and Tori's PR company. And I got to read Vindictive Blood by Jocelyn Soto. This is book 3 in the Flora de Montos series. And I'm probably butchering that because I'm terrible at pronunciations. Like, come on. I'm so bad at pronunciations that I still have my students correct me. And I think it's funny. So it's a whole thing. But this one is a 14-year age gap, so this might not be for everybody, but I absolutely loved it. She was a cartel princess. He was a DEA agent trying to put her father away. He had a very, very good reason to want to go after her father personally. This was also a secret identity romance. They didn't really kind of know who each other were until there was a raid and then stuff happened. I just loved the dynamic between our hero and our heroine, Camilla and Nathaniel. He was a good guy who went a little bad for her, and she was a good bad girl who went a little good for him. And I just loved it. Like, The dynamic was really well done. The characterization was well done. The story was very, very interesting. I enjoyed the plot. I enjoyed the family that surrounded Camilla, and I enjoyed Nathaniel's character growth. I really loved this book. I gave it 5 stars, and the audiobook was fantastic. I mean, I can't say much more than that, other than I absolutely loved it. So, next one is also an ALC. My thing was with this last month. It was a very difficult month for me. I was having trouble connecting to books and to people and to everything in general. Like, it was rough. So that's why I went back to the Stay a Spell series. We were gonna reread Wolf Gone Wild for Crystal from Novels Life. It was for her Patreon. We were gonna reread it, and I was like, you know what? I love that series. I know it's gonna be a guaranteed good time, and I started rereading that, and I was gonna read just the first one, but I binged the entire thing, and it helped a lot. So in between that binging of Dome Hexen Drive and Witches Get Stitches, now Witches Get Stitches is my least favorite book in that series, but I still love that book. I got the ALC of If You Need Me by Helena Hunting. This is book 3 in her Toronto Terror series. Okay, so when I originally wrote my posts and stuff, I could not tell you who the audiobook narrator was. They are Stephen Dexter and Andy Arndt, and they killed it. Like, they brought them to life. So this one is Dallas Bright, and he is absolute book boyfriend material. Then we have Wilhelmina. He calls her Wills. Her nickname is also Hemi. She is a badass professional woman. She's in PR. She works for the Toronto Terrors. So there's that element of they're not really supposed to be together for that, but he knew her when they were kids. For him, it was always Wills, basically. He's so sunshiny and she is so grumpy. They were gonna go back to their hometown for the 10-year class reunion. Some stuff happened with an ex and her ex-best friend. It was a whole thing. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go there and we'll pretend that we're together. So they were gonna help with that. So he would always do anything for her, including do all these really crappy things that she told him he had to do, like volunteering. He had to volunteer at a carnival and made him dress up like clowns. And whenever she gets mad, she'd be like, clowns, there will be clowns. And that made me laugh. But I digress. The thing is that this went from fake for her, but not really fake for him. He's like, I can actually shoot my shot. Okay. He really wanted her. And so he's very impulsive. His characterization, he's very, very impulsive. And he goes from, fake dating to, he proposes to her on the ice and she has to say yes. And that's when she's like, there will be clowns. Because now she has to say yes because she doesn't want to lose her job. She doesn't want him to get traded because they were not really supposed to be together unless it's an actual real relationship. And the way he pined for her as they were doing this fake relationship from dating to the engagement, she actually got to know him. She got to realize the truth of everything because she held some major grudges against him for perceived wrongs in the past. He was just such a sweet hero. This is book boyfriend material, just like Hayes from Finding Hayes. Like it was always her for her since she realized who he was for her and how what he did for her. And even despite his impulsiveness, it was always him. And that's when she really she had to figure that out for herself. And we get the secondary cast of characters, which I loved. This had such great character growth with Wilhelmina, with Hemi. I'm gonna call her Hemi. Love her. She does not take crap, and she had a lot of problems with coworkers. And honestly, women in sports, so Helena Hunting really does address this. She has Hemi working with some really despicable men who are trying to undermine her because she's a woman. Because it's a boys' club, right? And I loved how Helena Hunting navigated that whole real life situation, because that is definitely a real life situation. The audiobook is fantastic. The narrators did a fantastic job. I mean, it was a perfect casting, honestly. We had the found family, we had the hockey, because you actually got to see them play hockey. Dallas is one of the best book boyfriends I've read all year. I just absolutely love this. I think this is my favorite one in the series so far, and I gave it 5 stars. So my last 5-star was not an ALC. I did not get an ALC of this, which was fine. I was okay with just getting it on my own. And it was The Striker by Anna Wong. And my gosh, this one was, they call it football, but I'm going to call it soccer because I'm in the United States and I don't want to get it mixed up with American soccer in my head, or American football in my head. See, there it goes. So our hero, Asher, he hates Vincent. Vincent's sister is Scarlet. Asher sees Scarlet, is very interested in her, but then he doesn't really do anything about it until he's supposed to train with her because she was a ballerina. She was a prima ballerina. So Anna Wong did a fantastic job with the chronic pain representation. It made Scarlet feel more real as a character, and it made her more sympathetic. She had some major problems after being in a car accident, which caused her career. So she just becomes a teacher so she doesn't over push her body and stuff. And she always wants to get back into ballet because ballet is where her heart is. And honestly, I get that. So Asher and Vincent are supposed to train with her as a kind of a punishment that their coach does, because Asher and Vincent hate each other. Vincent gets out of it because of his and Scarlett's dad. And so that leaves Asher and Scarlett to themselves. So this one is more character driven than plot driven. I loved Asher's character growth. The way their romance developed was a little slower, but it actually worked really well with this. I loved the characterization of Asher. He loves street racing and stuff because he's an adrenaline junkie and stuff. What really made me connect with Asher as a character is I felt like I was reading about David Beckham, because he was such a superstar, and the way Beckham and his wife, there was a docuseries on Netflix about them. So I felt like Anna Wong watched Beckham's docuseries on Netflix when she was creating Asher's character, because I really felt like it was, because I watched that last year and I really loved it. I felt like when I was reading this book, I kind of felt like I was rewatching that docuseries, and actually I went back and rewatched that after reading this book, I'm not gonna lie, because one of the things that happened in this book was the crazy stalker paparazzi, as well as his team turning on him, his home team that he used to love when he was a kid. That all happened to David Beckham, so I felt like that was something. Anyway, I am gonna get off of this now, but they did sneak around because they didn't want Vincent to know until they were ready for him to know, and then he found out in a kind of not the best way. But I really enjoyed this book. Again, it was character driven. The third act conflict made a lot of sense for how the characters were in this book and how they had to grow in order to be together. The writing is impeccable. I just loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. So those are the 4 books that I read that I gave 5 stars to. Let me know if you've read them and if you like them. Let me know down below, and let me know if I should give a culmination of everything a try, because I really do like Christina C. Jones's writing. I didn't love that one character. And if you see what I gave 5 stars, it was characters who were pining, who wanted the person. Those heroes they had my wife energy and stuff like that. So, and if you made it this far in this video and you want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to say anything, please leave me a Christmas tree emoji, because I'm starting to read my Christmas TBR. You will get that very soon, I promise. And until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.